Good morning, everyone. So I was taking a minute to make sure I got everything shared out. Think I did. I hope I did. I want to let you know that I appreciate you guys sharing it out too. So if you see that I've not shared it everywhere that it needs to be, feel free to share it. Today I am going to be making 3 different things, 2 cards and it's the cutest little, I don't know, just happy that you could leave on somebody's desk when you go back to work or send to your child's teacher at school. I'm just super excited. So I've talked about this all-inclusive Simply Citrus card kit. And kind of the thought today was beyond the box. So I bought the kit. It came with everything I needed to make the projects here. But now what? And so that was kind of the mojo behind today's projects when I was thinking is, we get these kits and they're gorgeous. And even as a demonstrator, there are times that I absolutely love just putting them together. Not having to be the one to come up with the creative idea or reinvent the wheel. That it's just a great thing to have and put together. It's very therapeutic for me. I mean, I love creating, but there are also times that I just love making, and that's what I love about an all-inclusive kit. So kind of the idea today is to go from there to the 3 projects I'm going to show you. Now, before we get down to business of creating, I need to make sure that you know where you are and who you're seeing. So I'm Karen Day, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Arkansas in the United States. I have a blog and a YouTube channel as well as the Facebook groups. The blog is A Little Kinder by Karen Day, and that should be linked in the comments. The YouTube channel is linked there as well. I do want to mention a few things before we move on. First of all is if you are not a happy shopper, why aren't you? For real. Why are you not a happy shopper? The deal that you get with Stampin' Up! Is beyond amazing. Beyond. For $99, you get to go through the catalog and pick out $125 worth of product. Do you have to sell anything? Nope, 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 nope. That's why it's a happy shopper. You're shopping. There would be no minimum from now through September. If you decided that you wanted everything in the catalog, I promise you would make the quote quarterly piece that you would need to stay a demonstrator. Now, demonstrator is what the company calls it. It does not mean that you have to sell anything or hold classes unless you wanted to. You could just, for real, be a happy shopper. But this is what I want to drive home. Right now, there's an extra bundle that you can pick to go along with your starter kit. So, for $99 plus tax, free shipping, they ship it to you for free, you get $125 in product out of the catalog, and you get to pick a bundle. Now, let's look at some of these bundles. Here are the punch bundles. That means that you get a stamp set and a punch. So we've been using this jar of flowers a lot, and we'll use it again today. So one of the bundles could be the jar of flowers and the punch. And then there's the cute whale set. And so you get the whale stamp set and the whale punch. Now, that's not all. There are also die cut bundles. So it would be a stamp set and die cuts. So there's several of those that are absolutely fabulous that we've talked about and that we have used in Makers Monday. And I just don't want you to miss out on this deal because, to be real honest, it is like thebomb.com. There are so many things to choose from in this bundle, in the pick a free bundle. I mean, for example, the peonies, which would be the beautiful peony stamp set plus the dies, is a $57 value that you're adding on top of the $125. I mean, who wouldn't want to be a happy shopper? So So I would love to welcome you to my team as a happy shopper. Please message me or text me and I'll get you the link to get signed up. It may even be in the comments. If it's not, I will make sure it's there. So I had to. I can't let June go by and you miss this opportunity because they don't come along very often this way. All right, let's talk about the free product sheet. The free PDF. So I'm still trying to work out the look of this PDF. I was told last week that it was beautiful and fabulous, but it was a lot of printing. Okay, so I'll give you that. So I have combined it down to 2 pages. And again, I'm still working on some things and we'll figure this out together. Your feedback helps me. So in the link, I do know that I put this because I wanted to make sure you could go ahead and download it now and follow along. I wanted to have it there for you. So I got to thinking about the shopping list, which was the last 2 pages of the PDF last week. And it was great and it was nice and they were clickable links. But if you go to the blog or if you look at the post of this, there are also clickable links. So I kind of felt like maybe I didn't need to have them here. I'd love to have your feedback on that. If you think that we need to have the clickable links attached, that's one thing. It also gives all of the information of where you can find me and how to shop with me, where the blog is, all of the things that you can follow. So these are the projects that we're doing. We have a theme. We're using that Simply Citrus kit. Get out of that. Sorry, the dogs are with me today, and Riley is sniffing in the lemon-scented basket that's down here at my foot that we're going to be creating out of. So when you see something that you want, you can use this host code to order your products, and that is also listed in that PDF so that you have it handy. And this allows you to get the monthly freebie. And so this month I've been giving away Basic Jewels with any order over $35. So Basic Jewels, they're fabulous, they're everywhere. All right, you guys ready to dive in? Let's dive in. This is going to be the first card that we make. And this card is also going to be one of the swaps that I do with my team in July. So if you're a team member of mine and you're in the swap, you're getting to see the card. I'm sorry, but this is where the madness started, and I had to include it, and it grew. So we're going to use the stamp set out of the Simply Citrus kit. To make this card. Alrighty. And so I have done some things off of camera so that you are not stuck watching me color and fussy cut. Alright, so I've also put things in baskets this week. So we're hoping that everything will be easy to be found and not the chaos and the loss of ribbon that we had last week. So this is going to be the card we make. On the PDF, you have the measurements. Okay. So the first thing that I did was I took a piece of the Magenta Madness and I ran it through the Pinewood Plank embossing folder. So it just gives it that look. I love summer and I love pink lemonade in the summer. There's just something really refreshing about it. And then there's something very southern about drinking pink lemonade out of a mason jar. So that was kind of the inspiration for this card. All right, and I've got some of the pieces here. I wanted to show you how I made this black and white piece of designer series paper because we don't have any black and white right now in the catalog, and I'm kind of bummed about that. I love a good black and white stripe. So we're going to pull out the Stampin' Pierce mat that I've wrapped just with some grid paper. We're going to use the stripe out of Pattern Play. So this stripe right here. And then Tuxedo Memento Black ink. And what I did was I started at the bottom. Excuse me. This wet weather has my mold allergy acting up. So I may cough a little bit, and I do apologize for that. But we're going to take this and we're going to just stack it. So I didn't use the Stamparatus. You could. I just didn't. I felt like freehanding it was faster. But you could use the Stamparatus if you wanted them absolutely even and there to be no tilt whatsoever. But I just took it and lined up with the line right below it. This stamp is just a hair longer than the H size block. It hangs off the end. But the good news is the H size block is just a hair bigger than my 4-inch. Actually, this may be 4 1/4. No, this is 4-inch. 4-inch by 5 1/4 piece of paper. And then I'm just going to cut these into 1-inch segments. So we'll put that out of the way in the bucket. Grab my handy dandy mini trimmer. Since it's 4 inches, I know if I cut it in 3, it's going to give me a 1-inch piece. All right, slide that out of the way. Alrighty, now let's make some lemons. Now, I know my friend Elizabeth is watching this, and Elizabeth is one of the most amazing Stampin' Blend colorers on the planet. Like, she can make things look just, they're phenomenal. I mean, there's no other word for it. I am not. So I have started a coloring revolution, and my coloring revolution is kind of a scribble color with this Stampin' Up! Blends that gives you a really pretty feel, but it's scribbled, and so it's not blended the way that my friend Elizabeth does it. And so, Elizabeth, you may need to look away now, because it's it's not the beautiful coloring that you do. Now, there's a time and place for that. Sometimes there's a time and place for something else. And so I call this faux watercolor. Alrighty, so I'm going to stop there. But to make this card, you needed 3 lemons and 6 leaves. And I think I already have those cut. So here's how I scribble. I am going to use light Daffodil Delight and then dark Mango Melody. Okay, grab the brush tip. And the faux watercolor part is the leaving of the little bit of that white showing. When you watercolor and you do a wash, you get that look. Now, the great thing about Stampin' Up! Stamps is the artists have told us where you would have highlights or shadows. And so they've given us these little dots. And I've decided that my little lemons are going to sit this way. And again, it's that scribble technique that gives you this finished look that resembles watercolor. Oh, Patience, I'm glad you love this card. You'll be getting one in the mail in a couple of weeks. It started all of this. I don't know. I was playing and I wanted to think about this stamp set and how to use it once you have made the cards that came with it. I mean, you have a gorgeous stamp set left, and it happens to be one of 2 that currently have fruit in them. This one and then the cute fruit, whoops, which is the solids. So I don't know. It's the one that started all of this. So I am coloring the leaves with Granny Apple, both the light and the dark. Again, just thinking about if I were watercoloring it and hitting it with a brush. Now, these get fussy cut, and through the magic of stamping, ta-da, there they are. I really didn't want this one to go on for days and days and days and days and days. But I wanted to share how you do it. Now, this adorable little mason jar is made with the Jar of Flowers stamp set. So, don't just think about it as jars and flowers. It also can be drinks. And if you want to put something adult in your drink, you go right ahead. Mine right now has pink lemonade in it. All right, let me show you how I did this jar. So, on the stamp, you notice that there are these lines, right? Okay. I didn't want those lines in my drink. I mean, they could be there. It would be fine. I just didn't want them. So that is not the block that I used. Mama's running out of blocks. Not really. I have them everywhere. This is a Stampin' Right marker. And this one is basic black. And all I did was take the brush tip and I went down these outside lines, trying to be careful and not catch those center lines. Okay. So you can do this technique with any stamp. It can be a solid stamp, it can be a lined stamp. This one's a lined stamp. Make sure you catch the corners. Now here's the deal. Because of this ink, I'm gonna grab my scrap again. Because I put the ink on here and the ink is water-based, it's not gonna dry immediately, but it still needs some moisture. So I'm gonna hold this up to my mouth and I'm gonna huff on it. And that just adds a little bit more moisture. And then I'm going to put it down on my scrap paper. Turned it so that I can do the straw for you. And there it is. Now, if I had done this on the Stamparatus, you can see where it's not quite as solid of an image. If I had done this on the Stamparatus, I could ink it again and stamp it a second time, and that would make it solid. Not really worried about that, because when you get the whole card together, you really don't notice those pieces. There are also the little things that make card making unique, are those little bitty imperfections that you wouldn't get if you were printing something. You know, if you had printed this on your computer, or if you had printed this in a print shop, like a greeting card print shop, then you wouldn't have the imperfections. And so, I don't know, they don't bother me. If they bother you, use the Stamparatus so you can stamp it more than one time. All right, I'm gonna need this block again. So we're gonna take you off. Alrighty. So my straw, of course, is Magenta Madness, and my pink lemonade is Flirty Flamingo. And what I did was I took this small jar out of the stamp set and I flipped it over. So this is the side that's raised and this is the side that's flat, and I stick it on there. Open my Flirty Flamingo. Stamp it. And there I have some pink lemonade. Grab Magenta Madness. And we're going to ink this up. You know, Patience, I don't think people do either when they see the cards. I think as card makers, sometimes we are the perfectionist, and so we see it. And I wanted to point it out because, you know, the recipient of your card really probably isn't going to see it, but it really is what makes handmade cards unique. Alrighty, so there's the glass. We would fussy cut it. I did that off camera so that you wouldn't have to watch me fussy cut. Alrighty, I may need some of these blocks later. Alright, now it's time to build this. I used the new Hippo and Friends dies. Do you guys have those? Oh my gosh, you need them. If you don't have them, I'm telling you, you need them. And I love the Hippo set. He's cute, but that's not what got me excited, and that's not why I have it. These dies did. So I'm using the largest one of this. I'm not sure what you would call that shape. The plaque looking one. And what's kind of cool is right here on the edge, it's embossed. So it's not a stitched one, but the edge is embossed. And so this is what we're going to use to build our card on. And we're going to take the Just a Note, and we're going to use Magenta Madness, and we're going to put it so that this T, the upper part of this T, is all the way into this corner. Just like that. And that gives us all of the room to build. Alrighty. So I have my lemons, I have my leaves, I have my jar of lemonade, which is fabulous. one off. I cut my thumb last night making dinner, and so I have a Band-Aid, and I'm trying to watch it because it's slick, and it would put ink places that I don't want ink. Alrighty, so we're going to use the Plus, brand new adhesive. I really am liking Plus. I'm not sure I'm a fan of Seal, but I love the Plus. So, yeah, that may become my everyday adhesive. So, now we're going to stack our little lemons. And I'm not going to put adhesive. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can. The adhesive is just down at the bottom. And that's because I want to come back once I have these in place. And I want to be able to put the leaves underneath. So if I stick it all the way down, all the way around, then I'm never getting the leaves underneath. So just a little bit underneath. And this is the super, super, super strong adhesive. It is what replaced our old Fast Fuse, which was the one that a lot of folks used to build 3D projects with. And I have built a few 3D projects with it, and I will tell you that so far, knock on some wood, they are holding up and they are not coming apart. So I'm really liking, oops, that pulled to the side, the Seal Plus. It is a very light hand, so you do not have to have much on there. And I'm finding, okay, so if this is my surface, I'm finding that if I get to the end, if I roll this way and pull, it's coming off beautifully. So that may have been what they were talking about in the directions. Talked about a 90-degree pull, and maybe that's their 90-degree, but it took me a hot minute to get used to it. Alright, so we're going to slide this leaf underneath here so he's hanging off. Now, this little lemon I want to put on dimensionals. And so I'm going to stick a couple of dimensionals on here. I am a girl who is not afraid to use her dimensionals. If one is good, two is better, right? Alright, put that little one down here. And now I need to add some leaves behind him. Well, I don't need to, but I did. I just thought that it added a little more interest. Now, I didn't stick that dimensional all the way down because I do kind of need to lift it up to be able to put my leaf in there. And just like that, y'all, there it is. Now, we're going to assemble our card. So let's slide some things out of the way. Move these dies. Alright, so I have a card base. Maybe this, it's ugly. Ooh, hit the light. I have a card base that's just 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4. This is thick Whisper White. On card bases, you really need to use the thick. This piece is just the regular Whisper White, and this one's super flimsy, and this one is super thick. This really needs to be your card base. I mean, there's just no way to get around it. All right, we're going to take the Magenta Madness that we ran through the 3D planks, the Pinewood planks. Put a little adhesive. Okay, now why aren't you wanting to slide? So I was pressing down too hard. Alrighty. We're just going to layer this up. We're going to add our black and white stripe. If I didn't say it already, I love me a good black and white stripe. I mean, there's just nothing like it. And this should slide right in there. There we go. And then we're going to add some dimensionals on the back of our plate here. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to add a little pizzazz to these lemons. Now, you could do this prior to putting it together. I kind of like it afterwards so that I am able to, I don't know, I can see better this way. All right, so we're going to grab Wink of Stella. And down here in the dark, I'm going to hit the dark area with some Wink. And I'm doing that same kind of just scribble back and forth. Alrighty. And there it is. Completely finished. Alrighty. So that's the first card that we've done. And so this is going to be the second one we're going to do. And it's the second card on our sheet. I wanted to point out on these dies something that's really kind of cool. This is going to be the shape we're using. It is a square-ish shape. But if you notice, this large one, which is going to be our larger piece, does not exactly match the next one down. It's a different orientation completely, which I think is stunning, and that it looks even better when you put them together. So that's why I said if you don't have Hippos and Friends, you need these dies. I mean, yes, the stamp set is adorable and it's super, super cute, but I'm telling you, the dies, oh my gosh, they are the best. Ooh, and I hope you're not seeing my big ugly basket. I had to go into the kitchen. All of my cute baskets are in my classroom. Yeah, so when I do a class or something, I usually bring some of those home. Well, when we left school on March 13th, I didn't think about grabbing some of my cute baskets to bring them home. I didn't figure I was going to need them. Alrighty, so here's our card. Ta-da! Love it. I told you the theme was pink lemonade. Alright, so yep, it's down there. To do this card, we're going to say that. To do this card, you're going to need a Stamparatus. You probably could figure out a way to do this without it if you just absolutely had to. But I'm going to tell you, your life is going to be easier with the Stamparatus. And here's the reason why. These large background stamps are huge. You see all that? Ooh, I'm not all the way in the camera. They're huge. And when I first stamped this, there was a huge portion of it that needed to be stamped a second time. And so that's why I'm telling you, you're really going to want this. Now, there's a reason I had that stamp case. A tip that I have for you when you use this and you're inking up this stamp is if you will put your clear mount case underneath it, it's the same height as this hinge. So now you have a surface to press down on. Okay? So there's one tip for using the Stamparatus. Put a case under there. It's beautiful. All right, so this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I set this up last night, but if I remember correctly, that is going to be underneath. Yes, okay. So when you set this up, one thing that you can do is use the lines on the grid paper so that you know where this goes. Now, why don't I have the magnets holding my piece of paper in place? Well, the reason is because my paper is smaller than the stamp. So if I were to put the magnets on it, then the stamp wouldn't press on that area. So the magnets are just holding the paper down. And because it is lined up on that grid line, if I need to come back, I can. Alrighty, so I am using my new BFF Magenta Madness. At one point, my fingernails were closer to that color. They've kind of lightened a little bit over the 3 weeks since I got them done. Even though we can go out and go places, I'm still a fraidy cat. I'm still staying home. Alrighty, so here we go. Flip this over. Press down firmly. Lift it up carefully. Now this stuck to my paper, and I'm okay with that because I'm going to take my finger and I'm just going to run over the edges. Make sure that we got every bit of this stamped. You can also use the Stamparatus this way if you wanted to put the paper down on top and then use your finger or a block to run over it. You just need to be careful not to press down into the indentions. Alrighty, let's see. There we go. Now, we are going to trim some, so this part is not a big deal. Alrighty, slide that out of the way. So this was 5.5 by 4 1/4, and I need it to be 5 1/4 by 4. So we're just going to take this and slide it in. Slicey, slicey. Slicey, slicey. And then I have a beautiful buffalo check background for this cord. We're going to do the glass the same way we did a minute ago. And then I took this one right here and cut it in half. So I stamped it, colored it, cut it in half, and got a wedge. Now I am going to fussy cut this real quick. My eyes were getting tired last night, so I didn't fussy cut all of them. Alrighty, so fussy cutting for me is therapeutic. There are some people that don't like it. They don't feel like they're good at it, and I understand. But I will tell you, if you make sure that you are driving with the hand that does not have your scissors in it. And y'all remember I teach preschool. Scissors cutting skills is one of the things that I teach on a regular basis. So my scissors are staying still, and around this curve, it's this hand, my non-dominant hand, or the hand without the scissors, is the one that's doing the turning of the paper. I love to sit and fussy cut, so I'll do huge pages of whatever I'm doing, and then I'll go sit in with the boys and we'll watch whatever's on TV, and I will sit and fussy cut for hours on end. So a couple other things: you need a pair of scissors that are good and sharp. These are our precision scissors. They are super, super sharp, and they have a super, super fine tip. And I don't use them for anything but fussy cutting. I have a separate pair that looks almost identical that I use for ribbon cutting. Alrighty, so we're going to use a stamp set that I think sometimes gets overlooked, especially when you're flipping through the catalog and you're thinking, ooh, so many pretty things, so many pretty things. We're going to use Well Set. This set is just fantastic. I love the font that they used, but it also has a set of dies that comes with it. I don't know what that is. That are script. So if you did birthday and script, you could do the happy that's in here. So for this card, we're going to use hello. And I'm really hoping it's on a block somewhere because I don't know. There it is. It's like, because it's not here. Alrighty, so we're going to use hello. This is the A block. We're going to take Memento black ink. Now, I noticed on mine, my word is closer to the bottom line. This is one of the stamp sets that I really wish had been made in photopolymer instead of cling. But, you know, it is what it is. But here is... there's more space on the top of my word than the bottom. So I want to remember that when I go to stamp. And I am going to put this down here in this bottom little hump. Right there. So cute. Alright, we're going to keep the lids on the stamp pad so that I don't end up with them everywhere and we look like we've gone to battle. For some reason, the reds and the pinks and the purples, to me, I end up looking like a murder scene when it's all said and done. Alrighty. So our next thing that we're going to do is we're going to attach this little lemon wedge right behind our straw. I cut a slit in it a second ago. And I am putting just the teeniest, tiniest one line of adhesive. We're going to slide this in behind the straw. and adhered. So cute. Now some dimensionals. See, just like that, I've already lost them because they are not in the basket anymore. So one of the things that I really do miss about not being in school is that when you have a Band-Aid on, small children are fascinated. They want to know the whole grisly story. What did you do? How did you do it? Did it hurt? It's just the best way to get a kid that doesn't want to talk to you is stick a Band-Aid somewhere. And they want to know all the juicy details. It is hysterical. And then they're going to want one of their own. So just be aware if you're going to use the Band-Aid trick to get a kid talking, you better have one for them too, because they're gonna want to feel your pain as well. All right, roll that up just a little bit. Over here. All right, and now we're gonna line it up onto this one. I love that these are stitched. So pretty. And they stitch on both sides, so on the one that cut out, but then also on the paper. Let's see if I can reach this. So this is the Magenta Madness that I cut out. So it also left that cute stitched edge here, so I could turn this into a window card or a shaker card, and it's still got that pretty detail on both sides. So cool, so cool. Oops. Alrighty. Alright, we're going to slide this down onto the front. Make sure I get it even. Alrighty. Ooh, snap. I forgot to do something. Ah! I forgot the ribbon, y'all. I'm looking at it going. So I'm just going to wrap some of this ribbon around this piece. Oh my goodness. Almost. Y'all, I don't know what it is about me and ribbon. Last week we couldn't find the ribbon. This week I almost left it off. So this is one of my favorite things to do with ribbon is rather than wrapping it all the way around and tying it off on the front, what I like to do is cut a piece that's just a little bit longer than what I'm wrapping, wrap the pieces to the back, take some tear and tape to secure the ends. Make sure that that wraps the way I want it to. Look at that. So cool. All right, we're going to do the same thing with the pink. If I were super awesome human, then I probably could have made them both go at the same time. But since we can't even remember that we had ribbon to go on our cards and keep up with the ribbon, well, we're not going to push our luck. Alrighty. Now, the other thing that's kind of nice about using the tear and tape on the back here is that I can pull off the tear and tape from this top layer, and then I've also got tear and tape holding my card to the card base right there where it's got that extra bulk. Alrighty, go back to getting this little sucker centered. There we go. Okay, much better. Whew! Crisis averted. All right, we're gonna put some dimensionals on the back of this. Excuse me. Alrighty, the doggies are up and running, which may mean that Thomas is home. So if you hear a noise and a distraction, I'm sorry. Alrighty, slide that in. Now, we're going to take, this is the white ribbon out of the flowers Sweet. And then this is the In Color Magenta. Okay. We're going to layer them together. I'm going to grab my ribbon scissors. I'm going to snip them off of here. So these are layered up. And I'm just going to tie a knot. Attempting to hold those together with a Band-Aid on my thumb. Now I did tie this probably a lot wider than I needed it, or longer than I needed it, but with this Band-Aid on, it's better to be safe than sorry. Alrighty, we can grab a glue dot. Stick it right here on the edge. And then we're going to give our ribbon a haircut. Maybe not. I don't hear him coming in, so maybe it's a squirrel or a cat. We have a neighborhood cat that evidently his home at night has dogs. And so his name's Pesh, like as in Budapest. And Pesh seems to think that he wants to be friends with our dogs. I'm not sure that our dogs want to be friends with a cat or if they want to eat the cat, but Pesh makes them crazy. Absolutely crazy, which just cracks me up. All right, the last thing I want to do to my cute little card is add some rhinestones. So I'm just going to grab some off of here. One. I usually use my take your pick tool, but I thought since I have the scissors out, we'll just grab those. And well, I'm not so sure that it's working at all. Alrighty, so there we go. The one I made last night and the one I made today. Now, this last project, oh my gosh, this is what I got so happy about. And I'm going to tell you that, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, so here it is. Look at how stinking cute. So this is just a lemonade packet that I had here at the house. And you can get these just about anywhere. It's any of the Crystal Light makes some. Old Country Time does. The dollar store where I am was not open as late as I needed them to yesterday when I put this together. So I wasn't able to get the box. But they're pretty cheap. At the dollar store, I think it's 6 packets-ish. 8 packets in there for $1. So not horribly expensive. Alright, so we are going to need the scoreboard for this project, which means I need some space, which means I need 2 seconds, 2 shakes to get myself cleaned up. Alrighty, so we're using the Everyday Label Punch. We are also going to be using the Triple Punch. We're going to be using our scoreboard. You could probably do the scoring on your paper trimmer as well. I just think it's easier on the scoreboard. So this piece, let me grab the measurements. And these measurements are all right here. Isn't it cute? Oh my gosh. All right, so you're going to need a piece of cardstock and you're going to need a piece of Designer Series paper. So that DSP is your Designer Series paper. And to do this, your Designer Series paper needs to be 1 inch longer than your cardstock base. So I could do this in any length or any width that I needed to. It's just the magic happens when it's 1 inch longer. Okay, so here's how this works. Your Designer Series paper is sitting on top of that cardstock, and then it bumps out and it comes down and it hooks and connects again. Okay, so it makes kind of this tinted house U effect. And you could put lots of things in this type of a pouch. You could do fingernail files. You could make them bigger, and you could put something like, you know, maybe a Luna bar, which I thought was super cute. And so it would just, this would need to be wider, and your hole would need to be, I mean, your bump out would probably need to be deeper. You could put pens or pencils, or a Stampin' Blend would be cute in there. So if we pull this out and we put a blend, ooh, I don't know if it's going to fit in my hole. Yeah, it will. There it goes. It would just need to be longer, but oh my goodness. Do you see the potential for this? I mean, like, this idea, oh my holy heck. It's just so cute. And I will say that I was overthinking this project, and struggle city. And once I figured it out, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so stinking easy. And so I wanted to share it with you so that you don't get on the struggle bus, okay? So I'm going to set these punches aside, but we're going to need them. And I'm going to grab my scoreboard. All right. Make sure I get it in the camera where you can see the measurements. That's going to be kind of important for you. All right. So you're going to put the long edge. So on this one, it's 6 inches by 1.5. So I've put this 6 inches against my scoreboard. I'm going to come to 1/4 and score. I'm going to come to 3/4 and score. Don't stress about writing this all down. It's right here. I mean, I am literally reading across here. I'm going to go to 3 inches and score, and then 3.5 inches and score. All right. My cardstock piece doesn't get any scoring on it. Move this out of the way. All right. So I have 4 lines, 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch, then this piece, which is 2.5, I think. I don't do fractions in my head very well. And then another 1/2 inch piece, and then the remainder. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I am using my fingernails on this, but you can also use, okay, so here's the cool part. There is my bump out. So if I fold this one back this direction, it makes a box. Yes? I don't want it to make a box. I want it to come this way. So this one's going to have to be a Z fold, but the bottom one wraps around. This is the piece that attaches to my cardstock. Here in the middle, I'm going to take a 1/2 inch circle punch. Now, this one's retired from Stampin' Up, but I'm sure you have a 1/2 inch somewhere. And I'm going to slide it right in here. I'm going a little bit right of center, and I'm going to punch. And then I'm going to come this way, and I'm going to go a little bit right of center and punch, and that gives me my opening. Now, I looked at a lot of our dies. I looked at a lot of different things to try to figure out how on earth to get this hole in here. And truthfully, there's not an oval that's narrow enough. There's not a label that doesn't come over the edge. I like the 1/2 inch piece because the 1/2 inch circle, because it gives me a little bit of a tab to hold it in place. So if I'm taking my packet and I'm sliding it in here, those little pieces are going to hold it in place. All right, now let's stick this down. No, we're going to do that last. Do I want to build that, or do I want to stick it? I will stick it later. All right, so here on the bottom edge, I'm going to use tear and tape. And the reason I'm using tear and tape is it's about 1/4 of an inch. And the new plus is wider. Oh, geez, I just saw the time, y'all. We are running long. I am so sorry. I really don't want these to be this long, but they're so fun. Okay. And I'm going to fold that under. And I'm going to take it, and the bend goes right up against the end of my Bumblebee cardstock. Maybe I can show you better if I hold it up. So I've folded that under, making sure that the end is right there at the edge, and then I press down. Okay. Now for the other edge, I am going to use Stampin' Seal Plus. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a line here, just above my circles, and here at the very top. Across and up, across and up. Now I'm going to take this piece and this piece and line up the ends first, because I want those to be even, and then I smush it down and it gives you your opening. Oh, genius. All right, let's make this cute little tag. So this is the everyday label, and we're going to use the flowers out of this set. So we're using these little bitty flowers, and I'm going to grab my A block and my Bumblebee ink and a scratch piece of paper if I have one. There it is. So it should still be here. I'm going to stamp this off because I want these little flowers to be lighter than straight on Bumblebee. And I'm just putting them up here in the corner. Oh, that, jeez. Because when I put my Happy Everything and my lemons on there, there they are. So cute. Y'all should have heard me hollering last night when I figured this out. I think the boys thought that I had lost what was left of my mind. I think it's also funny to note that neither one of them came to check on me to find out why I was hollering. But I was. Because I was so excited. Because fractions and mathematician, just, I am not. Alrighty. Whew. Got a few more minutes, and then we're going to have to get off of here. Alright, so here's this piece. Here is my leaf. My half circle. Got a couple of things to stamp real quick. So I'm going to grab a lemon and a circle. And I'll do this super, super quick. The other thing we're going to do before I put the stamp pad away is we're going to stamp Happy Everything. So these are out of that Well Said, and there's Happy, and this says For Everything, but we're only going to stamp part of it. Let me take Happy off. So I am only going to ink up all the way over here to this E. So the 4 is not inked. And if it is a little bit, well, not a big deal because we're going to be cutting it out anyway. Stamp it down. Then we're going to do the same thing with Happy, but I'm going to put him on a smaller block. Now Happy is just a hair bigger than Everything. There he is, Happy Everything. So we're going to snip this in a minute with paper snips. Grab my blends. Again, I'm using that light Daffodil Delight. Into these little wedges, actually. I think I did all the inside. Then I'm going to grab the dark Mango Melody. Swish across there. And then I'm going to use the bullet tip to go around the edge here. We're to the part in the program where I make sound effects. And then we're going to fussy cut super, super quick. Again, I am using the hand that does not have my scissors to drive. So it's actually the one that's in control of how much white space I have. Probably should have snipped these off so that there wasn't so much extra. Trying to work around that big long piece can be. Okay, there's that. And then we're going to do the same thing with the lemon. So Jackson last night was being cute and funny and snarky and every bit of his mother's child when we were talking. Oh, I've got to cut those apart. When we were talking about this and I showed it to him and he was like, I don't see why you're so happy and I don't see why it's pink. I was like, well, it's pink lemonade. He's like, where does pink lemonade come from? Pink lemons? Y'all, my child don't know what to do with him. Alrighty, turn this off just a little bit too. Alright, let's build this. So cute. Put these back on because those are super, super sharp. Okay, so here's my tag. I am going to start by putting my whole wedge back here in the back, kind of like that. This little guy is going to go here, right? I want to make sure that I leave room to snug those little leaves in there. Okay. Slide this little leaf right in here. Hello, cooperate. There we go. Slide him in. I may have that down just a little bit closer. And then we're going to put the wedge on a dimensional. Multi-talented, grab that with the left hand. Slide my wedge right here. Then we're going to put happy into everything. Slide everything right here. So how cute would this be to make some of these up and just drop them off everywhere you want to drop a little sunshine? You know, this month's paper pumpkin kit was all about sharing sunshine, but what about having things that, like, when you're, say, at the post office, you just take one out of your bag and give it to the postal worker. Or if you're getting your car fixed, you know, you hand one to the guys that are fixing your car. Just a little happy to spread some sunshine. All right, if you didn't know this about this punch, see this line? That's the center. So if you line that up with the center of your paper, okay. So I'm going to line that up with the center of my paper and press down, then your hole will be in the center. Oh, so smart. Yeah, it only took me forever to figure that out. We won't talk about how long it took me to figure that part out. All right, so we are going to add some of this ribbon through that hole, and then we're going to tie it off with a piece of this ribbon. Alrighty, so this is the Bumblebee gingham ribbon, and then this one again is out of the Flowers, Forever Flowers set. It's a 3-pack of ribbon, and all 3 of them are gorgeous. This one is just light and airy and gauzy and makes me think of summer. All right. And then we're going to take this and we're going to just tie a knot. Now, here's the tricky part. There's 0 weight in this package, so I am using my fingers to tie those ribbons. Clip the tails, give it a little haircut, and then the last thing we need to do is attach this to the front of our container. We have a lot of traffic on our street today, and we don't live on a busy street. So it makes me wonder what the heck is going on. Alrighty. So I'm going to line that up. This punch, the everyday punch, is about 1.5 inches exactly, so it fits perfectly. Alright, and then we're going to slide our lemonade in Y'all look, oh my gosh, so cute. Thank you for sticking with me if you're here with me at the very end. I'm loving that you're here. Don't forget to download the PDF. It gives you all of the directions and it's free. It's just a perk. Whew. So we've got the cards that we made. I have thrown stuff everywhere in the Stampin' office. One of these days I'm going to do a Stampin' Corner video of where I had everything in my tiny, tiny house in the tiny, tiny corner. But here are the projects. Y'all, when life gives you lemons, make you some pink lemonade and sit on the porch and drink it with your friends. So here we go. Thank you for joining me. If you are interested in that Hostess code, again, it's in the PDF right here. So when you go to order the supplies you need, make sure you put that in and you will get a package of the rhinestones for free. Don't forget about the signing bonus, the perk or promotion that's going on right now about picking that extra bundle. I'd love to talk to you about that and have you be a member of my Glitter Hog team as a happy shopper. So until next time, my friends, stay safe. Bye.